Good morning, everybody. Can you hear me? Yes. Thank you so much. I would like to welcome members and the public to this meeting of the City Council. Some housekeeping announcements first. We are not expecting the fire alarm to go off today. If it does, please exit at the back and the front of the council chamber or the rear of the public gallery and follow the exit signs. For wheelchair users and those with mobility issues, please make your way to the safe waiting area on the Peace Hill, side stairwell of the building. Council officers will be at hand to assist. An accessible unisex toilet is located outside the council chamber, opposite the members' room. A drinks machine and water dispenser are located in the corridor opposite Committee Room 1. The council is filming this meeting, and a copy will be available to view in the coming days. Can councillors speak into their microphones so that everyone can hear their contributions which are made? Members of the public are more than welcome to take photographs during the election of the new mayor and deputy mayor. I would, however, ask that members of the public remain seated. Thank you. I would like to ask my chaplain to open the meeting, please. Father Isidore. So, for the first item on the agenda, I call for nominations for the office of mayor for the ensuing municipal year. Councillor Price.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's my pleasure to nominate Councillor Nigel Goth to be Mayor of Cambridge for the municipal year 2018 to 19. He's wanted to be Mayor for some time now, and in order to prevent him moving to Scotland, we decided this was his year. Mr. Mayor, Councillor Goth, Nigel to many and Gus to many more, was, if I may say so, born in Yorkshire, but made in Cambridge. There are some things that can be taught and some things that can be learnt. Yet despite some nearly 58 years living in Cambridge and only 3 in Leeds, Nigel has retained the stereotypical Yorkshire ability to be careful with his money. This suggests to me, Mr. Mayor, it's probably genetic. Now, Nigel grew up with his mother, Sheila, his father, Tom, younger brother, Nick, and younger sister, or baby sister, as I heard him say earlier, Amanda, in Campkin Road, in what was called North Arbury, now better known as King's Hedges. He attended Grove Primary School, and on passing his 11 plus, he went to the Cambridge Grammar School for Boys, because in those days, girls and boys were educated separately. After taking his O-levels, Nigel went to work at the Cambridge University Press as an apprentice bookbinder, eventually qualifying with City and Guilds, and he worked at the press for just under 40 years. During that time, Nigel became a member of the Society of Graphical and Allied Trades Union, known as SOGAT, and it was there took place, becoming the father of the chapel, the FOC, or the shop floor representative, and attending a variety of training courses on negotiations with management and how to represent people at work, which Nigel did locally, regionally, nationally, and a couple of times internationally for nearly 40 years. If you ask Nigel about his meeting with Evo Morales, President of Bolivia, when attending a conference there as a SOGAT delegate, and even if you don't ask him, he'll tell you about him anyway. And I'm sure, Mr. Mayor, Senor Morales was as impressed by Nigel as Nigel was by Senor Morales. Now, Nigel and I have lived parallel lives, minus the Yorkshire bit, obviously. We both went to Cambridge, school in Cambridge, that is if we'll allow Impington Village College to qualify. We both entered the print trade, although I was in the messy end, putting the ink on the paper. And we were both educated by unions. Mine in those days were the National Graphical Association, the NGA. And as I've said, we both served locally, regionally, nationally, and internationally. I didn't meet any presidents, but I did meet John Prescott in his prime. In 1991, SOGAT and the NGA amalgamated to form the Graphical Paper and Media Union, the GPMU, and that eventually came down to a local level where our local branch is called the Anglia branch, and I, along with Nigel, served on that branch committee for more years than I'm sure either of us care to remember. I recall Nigel coming to the meetings that were held in Newmarket on a motorbike, the only member of the committee to do so. I'm sure Nigel could tell you exactly what make and model too, but for me it was just a motorbike. Now, he's recently purchased a Harley Davidson, which I understand is something of an iconic motorcycle. At first this was part of a midlife crisis, but quickly remembered his age and decided it couldn't be that at all, so I can't define it. Now, I know he's currently studying part-time for a degree in economics with the Open University. Perhaps he could be destined to be the next Labour Chancellor of the Exchequer. After all, given the almighty mess the current and previous Chancellor have made of the nation's economy by people with no qualifications in economics, he could be a breath of fresh air. In 2011, Nigel approached me to ask if he could help with my election campaign in King's Hedges, which I, of course, was more than happy with. It's always helpful to have someone on your team when knocking on doors, and residents recognise young Gawthrop and are prepared to support the candidate as a result. And the following year, Nigel was selected as the candidate for King's Hedges, and he was elected to the council, where he has been successfully re-elected and served on many committees, some as chair, some as vice chair, and others as a member. I know what has been demonstrated over all of Nigel's adult life is that he has represented many people and continues to do so. He will prove to be the ideal person to serve the city as mayor, which is why I now, Mr Mayor, seek the support of the members of the council to elect Councillor Gawthrop as the next mayor of Cambridge. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Councillor Price, for your eloquent speech. Do we have a seconder, please? Councillor Dale?
Thank you. It's my pleasure to second this nomination for my neighbouring wards councillor. As noted by my colleague, Councillor Gawthrop's family was one of the first to move into King's Hedges, and he is recognised widely across our community. One of my neighbours was only regaling me about stories of him on the cricket pitch on the weekend. I know it will bring immense pride to his family and to his community to see Councillor Gawthrop elected as mayor, and I believe it's that deep-rooted connection that will ensure he will make this council proud over the coming year. The local boy done good, and I commend his election as our mayor.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Councillor Dale. Are there any more nominations? No? I declare Councillor Gawthrop Mayor of the City of Cambridge for the ensuing municipal year. Can I see those in support of that? That's unanimous. Thank you so much. Can I please ask for councillors and guests and members to remain in their seats while roping is taking place in the mayor's parlour? And can I also, before I leave this place, I always, the whole year, I was hoping for you to be noticed so I can bash this hammer. You have been so wonderful. I never had the opportunity. Can I please be allowed to do that? Yeah.
ask the Mayor to sign their formal acceptance of the office.
I, Nigel Goth, having been elected to the office of Mayor of Cambridge City Council, declare that I take office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfil the duties of it according to the best of my judgment and ability. Thank you. I consider it a huge honour to be elected to the office of Mayor of this, our wonderful city of Cambridge, and I thank you all for having confidence in me. I hope to fulfil the role to the best of my ability, and by the way, it's a bit late to take it back. And I'm grateful, very grateful, to my fellow councillors for electing me. As Councillor Price has said, I originate from Yorkshire, and I'm so pleased that some of my relatives have come down from Leeds to join the rest of my family with me today. I grew up in the 60s, and my family were among the first residents of a new council estate in the north of the city known as North Arbury at the time, now referred to as King's Hedges, and I've lived in Cambridge all my life. The people living in King's Hedges are my friends and my colleagues. Many of those who lived there in my childhood still do. That is the reason that when I decided to stand as a councillor, I didn't consider standing anywhere but King's Hedges. And I was lucky enough to be elected a city councillor for the ward 6 years ago and re-elected in 2016. At this point, I would like to thank my good friend and fellow city councillor, Pricey, for the nomination speech and for encouraging me to stand as a councillor in the first place, and more importantly, for not mentioning our teenage years. I have since campaigned hard for all the residents of King's Hedges who I meet on the doorsteps and in the pubs every week, and I can guarantee you that the people of King's Hedges won't let the mayoralty go to my head. In fact, I demand they don't. In my year as Deputy Mayor, I have attended various events, from Tai Chi demonstrations to society dinners, from afternoon tea at a home for vulnerable adults to a celebration of the Cambridge African Society. I have particularly enjoyed the community events where I have met people from all parts of the global melting pot that is the city of Cambridge. I promise to serve as Mayor for all of the residents of this fine city with the same passion that I serve as councillor for my ward. In this, the 100th year of the anniversary of the foundation of the RAF, I am grateful to Sergeant Katie Ruby, who represents the 104 City of Cambridge Squadron Air Training Corps, for agreeing to be my Mayor's cadet. I would also like to thank the Reverend David Mayer of the Church of the Good Shepherd, Mansell Way, for agreeing to be my Mayor's chaplain. I hope that you both enjoy your new roles as chaplain and cadet and the satisfaction that being part of civic life brings. David is a fellow motorcyclist and an all-round good egg. He is a fantastic community-focused vicar, and that was the main reason I chose him. He is also chaplain trustee of the Red Hen Project that works in North Cambridge with children and their families to overcome barriers to learning. I've chosen the Red Hen Project to be one of my Mayor's charities. The other charity that I am choosing to support is the Alzheimer's Society, which supports Alzheimer's sufferers and research into the condition. This is also a cause which is very close to my heart, as my father is a sufferer. At this point, I want to mention another very important part of my life, my wife Jenny, who has always had faith in me, giving me support, encouragement, and forever organising me, and much to the amusement of my colleagues, affectionately referred to as head office. I know she will relish the upgrade from Councillor's Mole to Lady Mayoress. Cambridge is a city of contrast and diversity. It represents the old and the new, the colleges and the science park. It contains the rich and the disadvantaged. It contains the vibrancy of multiculturalism alongside a reverence for Britain's heritage. I am proud to represent all of this, and in choosing my charities, I've tried to reflect this diversity. Thank you for electing me to serve as your mayor for the forthcoming municipal year. I will do everything I can to repay your confidence in me, and I hope that you, as I do, look forward to the year ahead with great enthusiasm. So, down to business. For the first item on the agenda, I call for nominations. Oh, I'm over the page, aren't I? Thank you. I call for nominations for the appointment of Deputy Mayor. Councillor Moore.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, and can I be the first to congratulate you on your marvellous elevation. Mr. Mayor, I would like to propose Jerry Byrd as our new Deputy Mayor for the next year. Jerry is an incredibly hard-working and active member of Cambridge City Council. She's a very successful champion of her own East Chesterton community, where she is a local celebrity and very well liked. But she's also championed the rights of residents right across the city. Jerry stood for election 5 times before she was successfully elected in 2011, which shows not only her dedication to our community and the Labour Party, but also her strength of character and resilience by not giving up in the face of adversity. However, it should be noted at this point that Jerry, for all her many wonderful talents, does not actually hold the record for members on this side of the council chamber for standing the most number of times in elections before winning. In the run-up to her election, Jerry campaigned tirelessly to stop the then plan to close the Lion Yard toilets. Through hours of sitting outside the loos in all weathers, she collected the largest petition ever presented to this council. When the plans were then changed to keep the loos but move them upstairs, she didn't give up and kept on campaigning. It's due to Jerry's hard work, dedication, and let's face it, friendly character, which must have helped engage the public, that we have those much-needed loos right here in the centre of Cambridge. It should also be noted that once she successfully won her campaign, Jerry then played an active role in planning the accessibility of the loos, which is a campaign that Jerry continues to this day, particularly for the installation of more changing places toilets through the city, which are desperately needed, in fact, throughout the country. Jerry also works to make Cambridge as accessible as possible for all residents and visitors to the city. As part of this, Jerry has organised a couple of events where councillors of all parties have had the opportunity to travel around the city in a wheelchair. For me, this was an eye-opening and unforgettable experience. As the new councillors in this chamber today will quickly learn, one of the many joys of being a councillor is working with and getting to know a wonderful team of council officers and fellow councillors. And for me, Jerry certainly fits the bill. Her warmth, easygoing nature and fun-loving spirit, plus her dedication to this council, mean that Jerry will be a tremendous Deputy Mayor in the year ahead and a true representative of the best of this council at any event that she will attend on our behalf. So I ask all members of this council to support my proposal to elect Jerry Byrd as Deputy Mayor for the coming year. Thank you.
Do we have a seconder?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to second. Mr. Mayor, before I start, congratulations on your election. I'm sure you'll have a great year, and as this city's first citizen, so congratulations. Mr. Mayor, as this chamber and the wider city know, Councillor Byrd is familiar with the role of mayor, having been mayor of this city in 2014 and 15. And during her time as mayor, I saw at first hand she overcame her physical challenges to undertake the role with purpose, with enthusiasm, and with panache. Regardless of the nature of the engagement, be it a gala dinner in a Cambridge college, or having a cup of tea with service users at Winter Comfort, the homeless charity on Victoria Avenue. But as we know, Jerry has not had the opportunity to be deputy mayor. And I believe that Jerry will bring to that role the same characteristics that she brought to the role as mayor, and will be invaluable support to yourself in the year ahead. So I wholeheartedly second the proposal for Councillor Byrd to be deputy mayor. Many thanks.
Are there any other nominations? In that case, I declare Councillor Byrd Deputy Mayor of the City of Cambridge for the ensuing municipal year. And I will invite Councillor Byrd to take her place at the dais.
Okay, thank you. I'm asking the Deputy Mayor to sign her declaration of acceptance of office.
I, Jerry Byrd, have been elected to the office of Deputy Mayor of Cambridge City Council, and I declare that I will take the office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfil the duties of it according to the best of my judgment and ability.
I'll just go straight into this now.
Yeah, that's it.
Agenda item 3, confirmation of minutes. May I approve as a correct record the minutes of the meeting of the council held on the 19th of April 2018. A copy of the minutes can be found in the agenda starting on page 7. Agreed? Now to item 4. Would the council note the report of the returning officer? I would like to welcome councillors who won seats in the local elections held on the 3rd of May. Nikki Massey, Shani Payne, Carla McQueen, Baiju Titala, Anthony Martinelli, Colin McGurty, Katie Thornborough and Jamie DL. I sincerely hope you will enjoy your work on behalf of the City. I would also like to congratulate councillors who successfully contested their seats. Patrick Shield, Russ McPherson, Lewis Herbert, Martin Smart, Rod Cantrell, Anne Sinnott and Dave Bajent. Well done. Agenda item 5. It gives me great pleasure to appoint the Reverend David Mayer to be my chaplain. My main reason for choosing David as my chaplain is his commitment to the community. He's not afraid to roll his sleeves up and get involved in community events such as the Community Clean-up Day and the Arbury Carnival. He's always keen to be involved with local projects such as providing school holiday activities and free lunches for attendees at the local community centres, in addition to running the church-based food bank. He is a trustee of the Red Hen Projects, one of my chosen charities, which helps disadvantaged families in King's Hedges and the neighbouring areas. He is also chair of the Board of Governors at Arbury Primary School. He also happens to be a fellow motorcyclist. David is highly respected by the residents of King's Hedges and Arbury and sets a fine example to everyone around him. Councillor Pagecroft will now move the following resolution of thanks to the outgoing Mayor, George Pippers. This council expresses its appreciation of the manner in which the duties of the Mayor were discharged by Councillor Pippers during his period of office, and that the common seal be affixed to a copy of this resolution for the presentation to him at the next council meeting. Councillor Pagecroft, please move the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and congratulations on your appointment. When I was asked to make this speech about George, I felt deeply honoured. I wanted to get this right, so I asked George for a tiny slice out of his still very busy schedule, just for a few ideas. George showed me some photos of his year. I was stunned, as his programme of events has been so large and so diverse. As our first person of Cambridge, George was our 811th Mayor, and he is very proud about being the first UK Cypriot to be elected to the position. George has done hundreds of engagements, as many as 5 or 6 in a day, 7 days a week. He has kept his promise and worked tirelessly for his selected charities, which were Centre 33 and the Sick Children's Trust. George was so dedicated to this that he sent his family away for Christmas and spent his with the homeless. He refused dinners to them all. He thought he would eat at Winter Comfort, but alas, none was left. So George had toast on his own for his Christmas dinner. That's got to earn him a few brownie points. George has done many TV and radio interviews, plus lots of local press. He has visited minority groups and groups of all faiths. always promoting Cambridge as an interesting, positive and diverse city to live and work in. He told me he could meet a huge spectrum of people from homeless to university dons in just one day. I think you agree that George managed to do this so well. After all, he has impeccable manners. Every photo of George shows him with the widest of smiles, always taking an interest in what is going on and always making the person he is talking to feel as if they were the most important person there. George visited our German twin city Heidelberg during his year. Everywhere he's been, he has promoted Cambridge and its people. He has raised an impressive amount of money for his charities. I think the children's charity had a big place in his heart. There was even a family that came to his office to thank him for going to see the children when he was in his official clothes. One child asked if he was a king. George's time was marred by Grenfell Towers, Westminster and Manchester. He always stood for the minute's silence and gave a speech expressing how we all felt about these tragedies. I think we will all agree George and his wife Anna were fortunate in their year as mayor and mayoress to get the chance of the royal trip to Heidelberg, meeting the young royal family, the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge and the young Prince and Princess. As it was Prince George's birthday, I know that Anna, our lovely and hard-working mayoress, bought him a gift. Our George, that's the one that's not really royal, pointed out that the little prince carried it back to the plane when they left. George had to present Catherine, the Duchess of Cambridge, with a medal. She asked him if she needed to bow, and George told her to think of him as his mother-in-law, said with a smile, "I'm pleased to hear that the Duchess did laugh." George, you have been a fantastic mayor. I, as your ward colleague, like my group colleagues, and I hope the whole council are all enormously proud of you. We can't wait for you to get back sitting with us over here. So thank you, George, for being our 811th mayor of Cambridge.
I call on Councillor Herbert to second the motion.
Thank you, Mayor, and congratulations. And also congratulations to George. It's been a very special year. So I would like to pay tribute also to George and also to Anna, George's wife, for the work that they've done for the city and the exemplary role that you've played. I'd also just like to link it to the fact that we are, as a council, hugely strengthened by the people that join this council who were born in other countries, and you are the first citizen of Cyprus originally to be a councillor here, but we have Councillor Gehring from Germany, we've had Americans, there are good Americans, we've had good Americans on this council, and we've had Asian councillors, and also in that spirit I'm pleased that Byrd Thatala is again a councillor. It's right and proper that this council has a member of the black and ethnic minority community on our council. So, looking back at your year, George, I've enjoyed several important events through that period, and you've represented the city with skill, commitment, and also a great deal of style. I've heard you speak with great feeling about equalities and about diversity, which are values that matter hugely in this city, and you've also spoken eloquently at times of sadness, because outside the Guildhall during this year we've had to pay tribute to the people who were attacked in Manchester, we've had tragedy in London and in America. So, and you've fulfilled all of those duties in an exemplary way. So it was also, I'd just like to record one event, and that was the pleasure of being invited to the annual service that you arranged at the church. Apparently you weren't around at the beginning of the church because it was set up in 1968, and you were busy defending Cyprus, including in the Cypriot National Guard, so that probably at the time was somewhat more important. But Archbishop Gregorios, who's now the Archbishop of the United Kingdom, was then the community priest, and it was great to meet him and other members of the community. in what was a superb event, and also to meet members of the Greek and Cypriot community, including my colleague Peter Saris, who is another colleague who comes from a different community. So thank you, George. It has been a really impressive year. I look forward to community events in the Church of St. Athanasios. I think also Anna will be able more often to ask George for you to go out on the late night calls out to the guest houses now that that year is over. So thank you, George, on behalf of our side as well. You've had a stunning year, but you're going to get back to business now. So I hope you enjoy the next year almost as much as the last.
Councillor Hipkin, you may speak if you wish.
Mr. Mayor, first of all, congratulations to you on your election. I'm sure you're going to be an excellent mayor. I recall the remarks made by former Councillor Peter Saris in this chamber a year ago when he was proposing Councillor Pippas for the office of mayor. He spoke of how he had served as a young commissioned officer in resistance to the invasion of Cyprus in 1974, and how, as a result of that resistance, some of Councillor Saris's own relatives owed their lives. He paid tribute to, and so will I, to the fact that despite Councillor Pippas's association with Cyprus's struggle for national integrity, he'd not emerged as a narrow nationalist, but as one committed to the inclusivity of all minorities as an integral part of this wonderful city. Councillor Pippas himself has said of himself, being one of the thousands of European citizens living in Cambridge, I wish to convey the message to all Cambridge residents who were born in continental Europe that the City of Cambridge appreciates their contribution, that we want them to stay and to play a key role in Cambridge's ongoing success. Those warm words of welcome during a period of some unsettling uncertainty about the role of European citizens in this country is immensely reassuring. Councillor Pippas identifies himself as an immigrant, as a European, and as a member of an ethnic minority. And this identity has enabled him during his term of office as mayor to stress publicly that Cambridge is a city of refuge for minorities and a welcome home to those seeking a new life. Councillor Pippas has been a good mayor, and I'm sure everyone in the city has reason to be grateful to him for having served with such distinction.
I'll now put the motion to the vote. Can I see a show of hands in favour? Councillor Pippas, would you like to make a response to the motion?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would like to be amongst the first people to congratulate you for your elevation as the first citizen of Cambridge and to thank you for being my deputy mayor. I would also like to thank the previous councillor who spoke so eloquently about me. You made me feel like as if I'm a hero. But thank you so much for your kind words. I would also like to thank each and every one of my fellow councillors for giving me this wonderful opportunity to serve the city of Cambridge as mayor during the municipal year 2017-2018. I would like to thank my wife, Anna, for putting up with me, and my family for supporting me during this year. I would also like to thank Father Isidoros, who was my chaplain, and Drew, who was the mayor's cadets. For the mayoralty to run smoothly, there are people behind the scenes who make this happen. Some of these people are Gary Clift, Penny Jackson, and Sam White, who do all the hard work and make it easy for us to attend the various engagements. A huge thank you. They say, and Councillor Hipkin told me that earlier on, you never know Cambridge until you become a mayor. This is so true. I can say that I have discovered so many things and places about our city I did not know. As mayor, I was given the opportunity to meet so many people and to make a little difference in their own lives. I will share with you an experience which I had. I went to the Acorn House for the sick children to make a huge donation. I took a benefactor there. And I saw this little young girl, 2 years old, with tubes in her nose, running around. She was the happiest girl going. The nurse said to me, she's dying in 3 months, she's got leukemia. She came up to me, and the nurse said to her, you know, Mr. Mayor has brought some money for you. So she came up to me and she said to me, thank you, Mr. Mayor, for giving me some money to buy medicine to make me well. She looked at me with the happiest eyes in the world, and with the eyes of her soul, and she reduced me to tears. And later on, when the girl passed away, I met the family, and I tried to say I was so sorry for her loss. And the mother was so brave, and she said to me, Mr. Mayor, God gave me the most beautiful snowflake in my palm. I had her for 2 years, and then she melted away. Such a brave woman. The mayor's role, obviously, doesn't stop. Even yesterday, up until yesterday, until the 11th hour, I was trying to help the sick, the vulnerable, and the people of Cambridge. And I would like to publicly thank Professor Tai Ping, who I was nagging until late last night. He came this morning and he gave me £2,000 cash for the sick children. So it makes, I think we have been able to raise over £14,000 for the sick children of Addenbrooke's Hospital. I would also like to say publicly, Andy Chair, who is a local business person, and I nagged him to give some money, and he gave £10,000 to Addenbrooke's Hospital and £5,000 to Campsite, which are the half-blind and half-sighted people. And so as mayor, you get more out by what you put into. And I'd just like to leave you with the thoughts that the mayor's role is to promote Cambridge in the best way possible and to hold the office of the mayor with great dignity. And I believe we have achieved both. Thank you so much for giving me this wonderful opportunity and for all of us together helping those little snowflakes of Cambridge. Thank you.
We now turn to item 7 of the agenda, Mayor's announcements. Apologies have been received from Councillor Payne and apologies for lateness from Councillor Spark. Are there any further apologies? The Mott sermon will be preached at Holy Trinity Church this coming Sunday, 27th of May, at 9:30 a.m. Members have received details of this civic occasion, and if you have not yet notified your attendance, please can you do so today. The proclamation of Midsummer Fair takes place on Wednesday, 20th of June, and details have been circulated. Please do support this civic occasion if you possibly can. The date for this year's Mayor's Day Out is Tuesday, the 14th of August. The support of all of councillors, stewarding, coaches, assisting guests with mobility needs, etc., is greatly valued each year. It's a fun day, enormously appreciated by those who take part. And if anybody would like to help this year, please could they let Penny Jackson know, who will pass your name to the Cambridge Live team. I now call for nominations to fill 4 vacancies for bailiffs. Do we have a proposer?
Sorry.
Is that no?
I'd like to... I'm in my own little world. Apologies, Mr Mayor. So I'd like to propose the 4 nominations that are on the paper, Mr Mayor. Thank you.
Oh. Yes, so the nominations are, and moved and seconded, are Councillors Dryden, McPherson, Pippas and Pagecroft. Does the Council agree these appointments? This concludes the ceremonial element of the annual meeting. There will now follow a 1-hour adjournment for lunch. Members and guests of members are invited to join me in the large hall. Could I ask that you wait for a few moments while I make my way to the large hall? The doors will be opened when I have left the chamber.